Welcome back, everyone, to the show of requirement, a Harry Potter podcast streaming everywhere you get podcasts and on YouTube. I'm your host, Spencer Price, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, David Gonzalez, Abby Tooley, and Cole Harris.
Isn't that I just now realized?
I just saw it as I was doing the intro that we're like not in the right place, but it's okay.
That's me, David.
It's too late now.
Good to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, my name is David. It's just not my first name.
I really thought you were about to do an accent, so I'm really glad that you did.
What kind of accent?
To be good with that one. David has
a Hispanic
an American
one.
accent.
What yeah. His last name is Gonzalez. You know? But we are wrapping up our rewatch series of Harry Potter with Deathly Hallows Part 2. Obviously it's an end of an era, and they're never going to touch these ever again until the reboot, but we're going to enjoy it right now anyway. But guys, just talk to me about just this past time of rewatching it, thoughts, initial reactions.
Well, before we do that, I have a fun little Harry Potter story. So Spencer went on a cruise over the Christmas holidays for the first time. And it was a cruise. I won't get into it, but I went to a Harry Potter trivia competition.
Ooh. How'd you do? Please tell me. Oh no, please. That does not look good. Spencer? I mean, David?
There were some really easy questions, like Gilderoy Lockhart was an answer, and there were some harder questions. And he did like a mix of books and movies. So there was one, where are Neville's parents? Which if you hadn't seen the movie, if you had not read the books, you wouldn't have gotten. My brother-in-law is also, I mean, he's a huge Harry Potter fan. Shout out to Christian. Happy birthday, Christian. He's got a dark mark tattoo. So he's yeah. Anyway, that's really committed. We both completely got stumped by this. It was what is the only thing that can kill a basilisk?
Chicken.
Chicken.
I hate you, Cole. He also said it's not a sword through the brain that will kill anything. And I think the question he actually phrased it as, what is the basilisk's number one weakness? Cole said a chicken. Any other answers? Cole may be very close. He may be not far off.
Chicken eggs? Chicken eggs?
It's the cry of a rooster.
Oh, the cry of a rooster. That's right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
What?
It's in the little piece of paper that Hermione had in her hand when she was petrified. Harry reads it out loud, and then they never mention it again. And that was the second question.
Jeez.
I don't remember what the first question was. It might as well have been write your name, but the second question, I was like. So then the rest of the questions, I was like, yes, St. Mungo's home for magical maladies and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just doing all the other questions while thinking, what the heck kills a
What was that? That is nuts.
There was people that got all 20 out of 20. I got 19 out of 20. They went to 2 like final Jeopardy rounds, basically. And the first one was name all of the Horcrux items, and then and their locations. And then the second one was how many staircases are there at Hogwarts?
7.
So I got all of the I got the Horcruxes, but I wasn't playing. I was just writing them down to see if I knew. Anyway, the answer is 142.
Oh.
It's randomly mentioned in Philosopher's Stone, Sorcerer's Stone. But yeah, so that was my fun little Harry Potter trip. Oh, and then my family was reading online. They're like, "There's a Harry Potter reboot coming out," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, don't start me." How do I explain this? I'm like, they they have to keep the rights to Harry Potter. They don't want to make more Fantastic Beasts movies. So this is the only thing they can do. Or the only thing they want to do.
It's not.
Like Warner Brothers.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'm going to Universal in Orlando in May.
Nice.
I booked it. We booked the trip. So we're raring to go. We just have to sit through a timeshare thing. And then we're scot-free.
Are you gonna go to Disney too?
Yeah, going to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah.
Galaxy's Edge and Universal. So I'm super pumped, super excited. Probably won't build a lightsaber; it's too expensive. But I will ride the Falcon, which is really all I really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So
Fair.
Anyway, Deathly Hallows. Part
Deathly
two
Hallows thoughts. Initial thoughts.
I do really like this movie. I haven't thought about where I'd rank it yet. So
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Cole?
It's a good movie. I think it might be one of my favorites. I don't know. I haven't put too much thought into it, like kind of like Abby. But it kind of misses the mark on some parts from the book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cole, that I didn't want to be a negative Nancy here or a Slytherin. Just kidding.
Negative.
When I was watching this, I was thinking some of this, like might be there are other Harry Potter movies that are worse than this for sure.
Definitely.
But this one is kind of like didn't age well to me. Like, I think just because when it came out, it was way up in the ozone, and now it's more, I can just look at it for what it is instead of, I'm not exactly on the hype train anymore. And so I think it is still great, but there are some bits that they kind of fumbled the ball or phoned it in a little bit. It kind of feels a little checklisty at times where they're like, these are the moments that happen in the book. Molly kills Bellatrix, quickly moving on to the next one. And then there are some creative choices that they make that's not as faithful to the book, at least as it's not as faithful as the last two movies were before this one.
Yeah.
But like, people didn't care, especially when it came out. And so it's hard I don't want to be judgmental about it, but I also want to acknowledge it.
Yeah. I really like this one. I will say this, and I will probably get stones thrown at me. I liked it better than part one. I
liked it better than part one.
Yeah.
I think
just
that
enjoyment wise, rewatching.
Yeah.
Because it's more,
yeah.
There's more action.
Clearly, one of the scenes I didn't like in part one, which is one of the reasons why I went down, is the unnecessary, disgusting, makes me want to vomit in my mouth, Hermione and Harry dance scene. Completely terrible, useless. I would rather watch any DC movie than that scene. And I don't like DC.
I have a lot of feelings about that scene, and I don't like it, but I don't like it that much.
No, it's disgusting.
Like, I don't dislike it that much. It's too far.
Skipped it. I skipped it. I said, I'm not watching this. This is not my canon.
I feel like disgusting is the word, but it just is a little cringy, so I skip it. But that's just cringe when I watch it.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that which one do you dislike more? The part where in the dance scene that we're talking about, or the scene in this one where Harry embraces Voldemort and hugs their way off the cliff, and then their faces mold together in a CGI mask?
Compared to the dance scene, like all day.
Like,
yeah. Tom
cringe.
Riddle and Harry
Actual cringe
all day.
I would
He likes the what? The song?
He said he likes the song. He likes the song. Yeah. I didn't even like the song.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
It's not my.
The song's
But
great.
anyway, so
Anyway.
I liked part 2, and I think the reason why is just because the music is so good for part 2. I mean, it is phenomenal. Like, and I texted you guys this in there. Like, as soon as it starts, like I'm already like tearing up. I'm already crying because
Is it
that
Lily's
opening
theme?
scene-
Is that what it's called?
yes, it is.
Yeah, so good.
That's what it's called. It's so good.
Yep.
I think that partly helps with it. Of why I really enjoy this movie. Maggie Smith being in this one.
See, but she's really not in it very much.
But she's in.
What I was noticing was
she's not in part 1 at all.
Well, yeah. What I've noticed in the music this time was that like Desplat's themes are the more subtle ones.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, and some of the most impactful music though is actually from stuff that came before. And I think Desplat's true skill is not just making great new themes, but also incorporating the stuff from what came before, because Half-Blood Prince is that penultimate, even though it's not the penultimate movie, it's the penultimate chapter, if you will. And so there are some Half-Blood Prince themes in music that he uses, some Hooper's, Nicholas Hooper stuff that he uses. Well, the Snape memories scene, that's the theme from Half-Blood Prince.
Iconic.
So that was kind of a genius move, if not by Desplat, by
the editors, whoever.
Yeah, the editors.
Yeah. So let's just go ahead and let's talk about just the things that we did like. And I know we talked about some of them, but what are some other things that you really enjoyed from this film?
I like the action. The action was really well done in this film. Although they did, like Spencer said, they took some creative liberties.
It's really just the one
creative liberties. Yeah, it's a little weird. That scene that you were talking about is a little weird, but I overall enjoyed that entire battle as I watched it this morning.
I want to take note of, I think the Battle of Hogwarts is so cool and so big that it overshines the fact that there's a first half of this movie, or at least a first third of the movie. I really like Gringotts and how they developed all of that. Gotta be one of the best CGI dragons we've seen.
Definitely.
Put to screen.
Yeah, for sure.
It feels so tangible and real. And the scene after where they land in the lake and stuff, there's just a lot of good stuff there. And then it goes straight into Hogwarts stuff. But I do really like that. The CGI effects throughout are really great. I actually like, while I did say I hated that one bit of the battle, I think that the Harry versus Voldemort duel, for lack of a better word, actually is really good, and I can suspend disbelief enough to enjoy it. Especially with like the headcanon piece of like, well, Voldemort's still kind of toying with him at times. Like he could send a spell that would destroy him, but he wants to kill him like more personally, I guess. Because like Harry's blocking spells and stuff from him for parts of that.
Yeah.
But it's really fun to watch. And then my last thing that I really liked was Dan Radcliffe's performance really carries this movie for me. He's definitely the one that has the most screen time. Everyone else is kind of brief moments here and there. And I think while he is obviously in a lot of the shots of the whole series, like he's definitely in the most of this movie. And like if his performance hadn't been 12 out of 10, this finale could have felt a little flat, especially with some of the other creative decisions that they made. And so he very much takes on the beating heart of this last entry and brings it home. And I think he needs to get a lot of credit for that.
I definitely feel like that was intentional. I think that they kind of set up this movie to be like, listen, everyone else on set is just a background really for you. Like they had set up
Borderline
Daniel-
cameo.
yeah, because
It's
even
like Neville.
Hermione,
It's like Harry, Neville cameos.
Yeah, because
Ron and
Hermione
Hermione
and
get a
Ron
little play.
are. I mean, they get a little bit of something toward like in the like second third of the movie, but really they're even them. They're like backgrounds. Like Daniel Radcliffe had to be on for it because this was kind of like his. I mean, this is his farewell as the main character of Harry Potter, and so if his performance wasn't what it was, it's going to be like, well, I mean, everyone else was fine, but they were barely in it. If Daniel hadn't done what he had done, I don't think this movie would be as good as it is. And for me, this was his best performance.
It is
of all. Of them. It's his absolute, and
that's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
but I think that also carries into something that we'll probably talk about in the things that we didn't like. I think that's why I'm okay with some of the creative changes that they have made, is because I think it may not be faithful to the books. I do believe it's faithful to Daniel's portrayal of the character.
I also think he's even though he makes that decision, which we're going to talk about, I'm sure, he is the most faithful to the character he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Like he doesn't do this, like Abby's made a post about this a long time ago, but he doesn't do the big circle thing where they're talking to each other and stuff. But he's still on the fly is still pulling it off with a lot of that dialogue and that confidence and coming around to be the character that actually can take on Voldemort.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else we'd liked?
Ron is really great in this one.
Yes.
He gets a little more time.
That's true.
I forgot he's the one in the book. Harry Imperio's the goblin both times, but in the movie, Ron gets him the second time.
Yeah.
I do like Emma Watson, but I feel like she got a lot more time in part one. She's still good in this. But yeah.
There's that Washington Sentinel coming out of you.
I also feel like Alan Rickman did a really good job in this one too.
Underrated.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that is probably my favorite scene, and we're not talking about it right now, but that's, to me, is a contender. For me, because Snape's Memories is an amazing.
There's a range of portrayal of emotions from Snape that we've never seen before.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to the editors, because I feel like they could only shoot so much. And so they're pulling a lot of footage from a lot of the series to kind of make that work together. This is probably going to be my favorite scene, is the Resurrection Stone.
Yeah.
I was going to say that was my favorite scene. Yeah.
I was thinking when I was watching it this time, was like, haters are probably going to say, like, they're all too old. It doesn't make sense. They should all be the age that they were. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm glad that they kept the people that they kept and brought it all together.
Yeah. I will say, I think even the little time that she did get Bonnie Wright did good in this one. And I thought her chemistry with Daniel Radcliffe was better. Again, it just makes me wish that they would have just given them a lot more time, or given her a lot more time. Yeah.
And in part one, for that matter.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But I think in the little things that they added into it for her, I thought it was great and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Also, Aberforth, shout out for basically a brand new character in the movie.
Yes.
And I think my favorite young version of a character in Fantastic Beasts might be Aberforth. Or at least he's the most consistent. But I got emotional when Michael Gambon in King's Cross. I had to rewind it and watch it twice.
I think King's Cross is my favorite scene.
I know. I think King's Cross might take the cake.
You know what
except
I
for the
think?
gross, except for the gross Voldemort baby thing.
Yeah.
Still preferred over Harry and Hermione's dance, but I will say, I think for me, that's probably the Aberforth and Harry scene is probably my. I think that was the scene that I watched and I said, "This is his movie. Like this is like this is it. This is the full maturity of this character coming out." Just because of the way Daniel delivers those lines, it was just like, I don't care what happened with your brother. I trust the man that I knew. Like that to me, I was
just, got a Tony this year.
Yes, he did. He did. I watched.
Deserved.
Yeah, watched it because he. It was so emotional because
it was so good.
Jonathan Groff is also amazing. If anyone who like watches or listens to Broadway, Jonathan Groff is probably one of the greatest, like, of our generation.
Honestly, the Merrily Trio, because Lindsay Mendez is amazing and a Broadway legend, and so that was just golden.
And the fact that was his, I think that was Daniel Radcliffe's first Broadway show.
I think not his first stage musical. He did Equus, I thought, on Broadway, but not well. I don't know, it was a play, but
but he was it was great. It was great. I'll try to find some bootleg versions of it to watch, try and piece it together. But
slime tutorials.
But I thought that was his best scene was with Aberforth, and I think that was the staple moment for him, in my opinion. All right. Well, what did we have problems with, guys?
Well, we already know the main one of mine.
Yeah.
I have a bad confession to make, guys. I think I don't like the epilogue.
I'm with you.
There's a lot of fans that don't like it. I didn't watch it this time.
That's
because and just it's just like the Deathly Hallows. I was debating whether I was going to tell you guys that I skipped the epilogue, but I decided honesty is the best policy. It's just they made such a good ending shot there with the three on the bridge.
Agreed. Yes.
And it pans out and the music and it fades, and I was like, that's it. That's where it ends in my heart. And the epilogue's just like there. And like the makeup's a little weird.
Makeup is
like,
really weird.
It weirds me out. And then the kids are just like really bland acting.
Oh, Spencer, the kids.
They just haven't had time there's no chemistry at all. Yeah. And that's not their fault. It's just, they felt just this obligation to do it. But I'm also beginning to realize, Abby and David, you read lots of books. Are all prologues bad?
Prologues?
Yeah. I have yet to read a prologue that was like, man, invigorating. This is definitely where the book starts.
I was going to say, I don't think all do, but I'm struggling to think of an example of one that I don't know. When you said, man, this is stellar, I don't think I think that when I read a prologue.
Like, it feels like background information that doesn't make sense to me and won't until I read the book most of the time.
Yeah, I think the prologues that I've enjoyed. So Light of the Jedi, the first High Republic book, that prologue literally set up an entire generation of entire era of Star Wars. And so I've seen it done well, but I guess there are a ton that you're just kind of like,
it's not the most exciting part of the book, and it's not meant to be.
But I think like starting in chapter 1, I've just begun to realize, because I started, I'm going to try to read Wheel of Time this year. And I tried, well, I was like listening to prologue and I'm like, what is this? And then I flipped to chapter 1 and I'm like, oh, this feels like a start of a book.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry. Side
there. No, but
the epilogue on Harry Potter is just,
well,
I don't know if it's it for me.
I like the book epilogue. The movie epilogue is okay, But what I'm finding
That's
now is
probably
that when
fair.
I watch the epilogue, I start thinking about the cursed child.
I also thought that too, but I think that's probably where I'll disagree. I think probably with the two of you. I don't even think I like the epilogue in the book. I
That's
just
fine.
don't. And well, I guess I should say this. The only reason why I don't like it is just because I felt like the names that were given to the kids were lazy.
Oh yeah,
And I would just prefer it
110%.
not be a thing. Like I would just prefer
love
that
the
they
memes,
cut it
though.
out.
Fair.
Yes, the memes are great.
There's a lot
but
of memes from this movie,
Yes.
actually.
but it felt like she wrote an epilogue just to write one, and I think that's the worst kinds of epilogues.
I think it was her way of telling us that Hermione and Ron and Harry and Ginny ended up together.
But we knew.
But I I like Hermione and Ron's kids' names, but I disagree with
That's fair.
Harry.
That's fair.
Ginny would never let Harry name the kids after everyone he likes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think for me, that's why I just don't like the epilogue just in general, just because of the lazy name givings.
I think the book one is better, Abby. I'm
Yeah.
I'm indifferent to slightly positive about the book epilogue, but I don't love the movie one.
Yeah.
So I guess ironically my biggest beef with part one, Deathly Hallows part 1 and part 2, which is how it ends.
Yeah.
But they had to do the epilogue.
Well, it's kind of like Dr. I know this is kind of getting off track, but this is why when Dr. Emerson was on the Star Wars Historians, he was talking about how he felt the Rise of Skywalker probably could have been better is if you literally just took the opening for the Rise of Skywalker and that's the ending of The Last Jedi. Man, how much that would have changed it.
They didn't plan out.
They didn't plan it out. They didn't plan it out, but he said that they should do that post.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But yeah. What else?
Another beef I have. That might be it.
I don't like that Harry
I know that
snapped
you all
the
know
wand.
about my qualms with
Cole?
the final battle. Sorry, Cole, what'd you say?
I don't like that he snaps the Elder Wand at the end.
I think it's on brand with Daniel Radcliffe's character or portrayal of the character.
Yeah.
I wish they would have
that's
shown
David and I's
Harry
conclusion
fixing
on
his
it.
wand.
Yeah. Wait, say that again, Abby?
I wish they would have shown Harry fixing his own wand and then snapping the wand. I don't know.
Yes.
I just
leave it to Abby to find a middle ground option.
There wasn't time. They had to hold hands.
Well,
I think
They used up all the budget on the dragon CGI.
I think Harry putting the wand in Dumbledore's tomb again, is a little weird.
It is.
But B, it leaves the door open for someone else to take the wand and for the murder trail of people that have had this wand to continue.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say you want it to continue?
No, he said he didn't want to.
But I'm saying
okay.
I want the line to end, and really the number one way of doing that is breaking the wand.
For Spencer.
I just want death and more.
I just want more death. Yeah.
That's gonna be.
I was gonna mention this earlier. So I made the mistake of I watched part 1 before Christmas, and then I watched Christmas movies as one does, and then between Christmas and New Year's, I watched, as many people do, Cole.
Mm-hmm.
What do many people watch between Christmas and New Year's?
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so I watched Fellowship. I finished Return of the King this morning, and then finished Deathly Hallows Part 2 this afternoon. I watched 2 ends of franchises back to back. So I like that this only ends twice, although I didn't watch the second ending. I watched all 18 endings of Return of the King. But yeah, Harry leaving the wand. Yeah, Harry leaving the wand is kind of like Frodo just not throwing the ring into Mount Doom.
Nah.
To me, at least at least my current brain, that's what I immediately thought too.
Yeah.
So it makes more sense to me that he breaks the wand. But I do miss the Phoenix wand.
Yeah. Let's. I guess not. Abby, you said that last fight scene.
I mean, I just really like how the book does it. But
Mhm.
I think I do agree with you guys that the way Daniel Radcliffe portrays Harry, I think that it fits. But I really liked that in the book, Harry really tried to be like, it doesn't have to be this way. Like, you can repent, like trying to just trying to help Tom find his humanity again. But we all knew he was too far gone. But it was Harry was giving him a shot. Whereas this one, it was just kind of like, he looked excited to like kill him. It was like oh God, But
I don't think he was excited to kill him, but it was like a moment of triumph,
like
in catching the wand that he had
I just remember
debilitated
seeing,
him at least.
the smile, just a little bit of like in the slow motion, like,
I think I don't mind the fight. I do like the book fight a little bit more, but I like the movie fight just almost as much. I don't like how Voldemort dies, because the whole point of the book is that he dies just a dude.
And I think I said that in the Instagram post too. But yeah,
like the lowercase g god, quote unquote, he's just a man, and he died.
I also liked that in the book, everyone watched it happen.
Yeah.
Because I think it was important. This whole thing over all the years has been, is Voldemort really back? Is he like real? Like, we never see him. What's happening? And I thought it was so important for everyone to actually see him be defeated.
Yeah. I think it's one of my favorite parts in the Deathly Hallows book is that whole scene of Harry just like putting all the pieces together, like you said, Abby, letting everybody in on, no, I'm about to defeat you. Like, this is it for you. This is it. And I still wish we would have gotten that still, because I think with Daniel, because Daniel was in his bag in this film, man,
would have been so good.
He would have done such a good job with that
monologuing.
I did think that this was a missed opportunity,
and you have Ray Fiennes too,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's always got the bag at a good
interaction.
So I do think that it's a good criticism to have, because I think with the way that Daniel was acting in this one, to see it would have been amazing.
What I'm realizing too is they kind of had the whole setup right there, because Harry runs off and him and Voldemort fight for a bit, and then everybody goes inside the Great Hall. I think for the only reason of that's what they did in the book. But then Harry and Voldemort don't fight in the hall with them. And I feel like they should have just kept everybody in the square, fought in the square, and then Harry and Voldemort land in the middle of the square. Everybody backs up. So you have all of the characters in the background watching this final duel. And then Voldemort dies and doesn't flicker off into the air.
Yeah.
I do like the Lego Harry Potter 2 version of Voldemort dying. It's quite entertaining.
I don't remember it. Does he just break off into pieces?
Yeah, he just breaks off into studs into the wind.
I remember that. That was better than this. and if Voldemort hadn't died that way in the movies, the Lego games would have deprived us of that.
Yes.
So I guess it's all worth it. Also, Cole, I did pick up Lego Lord of the Rings again because
did you?
Because of the movies, yeah. It's fun.
It's solid.
It's good.
Good luck hunting all those mithril bricks.
Oh my gosh. Everything's made of mithril.
Yes.
We lost Abby.
We did lose Abby, unfortunately.
Actually, you lost Cole because apparently I'm Abby.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No,
We
that's
lost
fair.
Abby. We lost Cole, but
Yeah.
Abby is here. She has Cole's voice though.
Oh. No. Thought she was back, but she's not.
Is there anything else?
Anything
I
else?
they left out of. I don't like that they left out Lupin and Tonks's baby and Teddy and all that. I mean, they mention it, but it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
Because don't they stop at? Doesn't the trio stop at Tonks's parents' house in Deathly Hallows?
Harry and Hagrid land there at the beginning of Deathly Hallows.
There it is.
But Tonks and Lupin aren't there. We learn about the baby through Lupin, who meets up with them at
Grindelwald's
Sirius's
place.
house. Yep, that's it.
That's right.
And that part was also left out of the movies.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
That just kind of cut that storyline right out.
Oops.
And this one was not that long. They could have included Lupin going to Shell Cottage at the beginning. Wouldn't have killed them. I'm going to open up my little notes while David tries to find Abby. I do. Oh gosh, I do have a thing I hate about this movie. I never noticed it before. Draco apparated inside of Hogwarts.
Yes, I noticed that too.
And then Voldemort does it later. Voldemort is one thing. Dumbledore is one thing. Draco? If you can apparate in Hogwarts, then this whole battle would have been completely different.
Yeah.
And I got really, that was like, my daughter was sleeping on me, that I was about to like sit up in rage. Because I was like, my God, they just did that and no one noticed. I like Harry's hair. Listeners will know Abby and I have been discussing Harry's hair. I like Harry's hair in this
entire time. Yeah.
It's also very inconsistent over the course of the movie. And I think that's because they film them together, but not chronologically.
Yeah.
So some back-to-back movies film chronologically, but most of them don't. They film scenes from either one. And so actually the last shot they filmed of Harry Potter was part one, was a shot from part one, which is crazy to me. At Hogwarts, at the beginning of the scene, they're all like marching into the school and Severus is watching them and there's Desplat's really sad music. But all I could think of is, where are the kids coming from? Like a Quidditch match? Yeah, I was thinking, oh yes, a lovely Quidditch match. Slytherin flattened Gryffindor 1,000-0. And only 3 Hufflepuffs received a Dementor's kiss.
No. Field
What's a
trip to
wonderful game.
Azkaban.
Oh yes, sorry. Warner Brothers logo, sensible but cold and uninviting.
Yes.
10 out of 10. It's not weird and actively rusting. That one weirded me out. And then lastly, Warwick Davis is incredibly underrated.
Yeah, for sure.
His grip hook might be one of his best. And he's so good. You don't even notice that he's in this movie twice.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so we've gone through favorite. So let's go through the favorites at this point in time. Okay, so let's start with first let's start with back up. Let's start with percentage you would give this film on faithfulness to the book. Before that, let me get Abby back in here.
And I can review also.
Yeah, and I have the list of that as well.
Sorry, my phone died while it was plugged in.
Gotta love when that happens.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. All right. So, Spencer, if you want to read this off for us here.
Yes. So I think my list is also accurate to this. So Sorcerer's Stone, for listeners not on YouTube, we gave it a nice 84%. Chamber of Secrets is probably our winner, I would say. It's not getting, like, this isn't beating it with a 90%. Prisoner of Azkaban, we gave it 81%. You can thank Cole for the odd number. Goblet of Fire, we did that again with a 63%. It is not the lowest. Thanks to David being out, we gave Order of the Phoenix a 60%.
Ridiculous.
Half-Blood Prince was its comeback story with a 75%, and then Deathly Hallows Part 1 is our second place with an 88%.
Yeah.
I don't think that this is beating Sorcerer's Stone or Prisoner of Azkaban.
No, not a.
Mm-mm.
No.
I'm not sure if this is even more faithful than Half-Blood Prince's. It might be just as.
Yeah. Huh.
You know, but what did it really leave out? Other than Lupin and Teddy.
Left out Harry's monologue.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It changed the battle. We didn't see Fred die.
No.
We didn't have the Ravenclaw common room scene. Didn't miss it that badly, but it was gone. I think it's missing. No, I don't think it's missing or changed more than Half-Blood Prince did. And so I think I would give it at least a 75.
I'm going to give it a 70 personally. I just think that monologue was really big for them to miss. And while I think it's less cringe, why I think it's less disgusting than the Hermione and Harry deal, I still think that to replace the monologue with the Voldemort Harry flying through the air thing, it's gonna knock it down for me some. So I'm going 70%.
I think that's too much. I think you're being too hard in this film.
You guys listen. You don't get to say anything because you gave Order of the Phoenix 60% below Goblet of Fire. So I don't want to hear it.
Petty guys.
I want to hear it.
Typical Gryffindor. Being a sore loser.
We don't lose. We win. We're winners.
I think I'm going to give it a 75. Maybe an 80. I could be convinced.
Oh my gosh. He's just trying to get it to be a 75.
I'm not. It's not beating
Prisoner.
Prisoner of Azkaban has an 81%. I'm not willing to. That is more faithful than this. I want to see what Cole and Abby's saying, but 75 is where I'm starting.
Okay, please.
Can I see the rank? Can I see our numbers again?
You sure can.
There they are.
Yeah.
I can't figure out which direction Abby is wanting to go.
Yeah.
Abby doesn't know which direction Abby wants to go.
Cole, I know you always go last, but do you have thoughts?
No, I'll be reasonable this time, and I'll say it's about a 75.
I think 75.
I think going 80 is just too much.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
Do we think it's any more faithful than Half-Blood Prince?
No.
Not really.
No.
But Half-Blood Prince left out like 3 memories.
Because if we don't think it would be any more faithful than Half-Blood Prince, we shouldn't go above a 75.
That's where I was at. That's why I landed. That's where the 75 came from. And I really like Half-Blood Prince.
Uh-huh.
And that's still where I'm at. I guess the question is it lower than a 75?
I don't know. I may stick on a 75.
75.
I don't know. I can't decide.
We just need to decide. So
Fine, let's do 75.
Huzzah.
But I'm going to put an asterisk by it. It says David disagrees.
David's
So
in protest.
I am in protest. But best acting performance in this film, I feel like the only answer is Daniel Radcliffe.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Pretty good on that. Okay, now officially, favorite scene in this movie.
I like the resurrection stone scene.
King's Cross.
Yeah, King's Cross.
But resurrection is my honorable mention.
I am gonna go with Snape's memories. Mm-hmm. I still think that's such an iconic scene.
It's a good one.
Yeah,
it's a really good one. One that I will just watch randomly and cry.
Yeah.
So, all right, and then next question is favorite character in this one.
Harry Potter.
I was gonna say to not say Harry again feels wrong.
I'm going Neville Longbottom.
I was gonna say Neville as well. Yeah,
we haven't talked about him at all, but this was also his shining moment too.
I'm gonna go with Neville also
for all of us.
I quite like McGonagall in this one.
Yes,
it's just very iconic. Although not very much in the movie, but she was very giddy to battle.
Yes,
I thought
she was.
Use that spell.
Use that spell. Yeah.
Also, her just like going at Snape. No words. They're just both.
Mm-hmm. So have you guys heard about that? I don't know if it's a proven fact or if it's just a theory that Snape, like, basically, like, almost like an avatar, just bends McGonagall's spell to hit the Carrows.
He for sure did.
I think that was a movie change, but welcome one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he takes their wands too.
Yep.
Yeah. Super cool. So I love that. Yeah, great scene.
The Carrow brother is going to be Galactus.
I did not realize. I did not put that together.
That is who that is.
Oh, I like when Voldemort kills Pious Thickness.
I don't think I can say I liked that, but
it's just such a random. They're like, no, Voldemort's gonna kill him.
Yep.
He needs to have one more. He needs to kill one more person before he dies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, final thing that we're gonna do is, and this is what we're gonna put. I'm making the graphic right now. It's what's gonna go on the Instagram. Rankings of movies. The final rankings of these movies.
So my rankings have changed since the last one. Not just adding Deathly Hallows Part 2, just like looking back.
Finishing touches. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Abby will be happy because Sorcerer's Stone went up.
Hey.
I just think watching this in hindsight, I'm like, it needs to go up a little bit. So my number one is Half-Blood Prince. Or should I start at the bottom?
Start at the bottom.
Start at the bottom. Now we're here. Fun. Well, no surprise, top one. My bottom is Order of the Phoenix, where it remains. Goblet of Fire. Deathly Hallows Part 2. Not because it's sixth place for bad reasons. I just ranked the other ones a little higher. Chamber of Secrets, basically tied with Deathly Hallows Part 2, but it's there. Sorcerer's Stone got the number 4 spot. Prisoner of Azkaban, number 3, and Deathly Hallows Part 1, number 2, and Half-Blood Prince is the winner. for me.
All right, Abby.
Starting at the bottom, Goblet of Fire. Then Chamber of Secrets. Order of the Phoenix. Half-Blood Prince.
Wow.
Then
Yes.
Deathly Hallows Part 1. Deathly Hallows Part 2. Sorcerer's Stone and Prisoner of Azkaban.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cole?
My personal enjoyment.
Cole's making sure he isn't missing one.
Yes, I'm not missing one.
He's like
8.
1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
7.
What am I
Gosh, dang
missing?
it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh yeah, there it is. Wait, why did I just write it? Anyways, so from last place, Order of the Phoenix, and then Part 1 of Deathly Hallows, then Chamber of Secrets, Goblet of Fire, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows Part 2, Sorcerer's Stone, and Prisoner of Azkaban.
Cole and I have the same top 3.
Yeah.
Wow. Cole's is like all over the place.
Been a roller
It's
coaster
wild.
for me.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah,
All
you guys
right.
thought mine was bad.
What's funny
All
is
right.
David and I disagree, but our lists usually end up being pretty similar.
Yeah.
Except for Order
So
of the Phoenix.
Yeah, so
Was my
we'll see
prediction.
about. Yeah, so at the bottom for me is the Goblet of Fire. Then it's Order of the Phoenix, followed by the Chamber of Secrets, then the Sorcerer's Stone, then Deathly Hallows Part 1, Deathly Hallows Part 2, the Prisoner of Azkaban, and the Half-Blood Prince.
See, I struggled to put Deathly Hallows Part 2 higher than I did because I'm like, is it great in and of itself, or is it great because of what came before it?
Yeah.
That's why
I love a good, strong main character, and this was the strongest he has ever been to me. Like, this was his movie, and so I think that's what kind of carried the day for me, was just that this was Daniel Radcliffe's best movie, and he was the star. This was his farewell performance, and so
I think this is like the second or third best conclusion of a franchise ever. I think Return of the King is number 1.
Yeah.
For me. And then maybe Endgame, if you can count that as a number 2 or a number 3. Probably
end of
number
an era.
3.
End of an era.
It's definitely an end of an era, yeah. I mean, Return of the King is the same argument, yeah.
Yeah.
End of an era.
I would. So one of the things about just even us talking about the films is people have mixed feelings even just about the movies themselves as well. I mean, if you've read the books and then you watch the movies, you're just like, the books are way better. I mean, that's like Alicia's experience. She watched the movies first, then she read the books, and then when she rewatched the movie, she said, these are not good. And I think that's
sad. But
that is, I think that is like a lot of people's feelings about this. However, just because I think I agree that I think the books are better, but they're also tier 1 canon. Okay, these are tier 3, so they're not supposed to be the same anyway.
2, right?
They might be tier 2 actually, but regardless, they are different, and I think that's okay. I think the thing about the reboot, one, it came too early, but also 2,
they definitely announced it too early.
Yeah.
If they could have kept hush hush about it.
Yeah. I don't know if they could have, though.
I still stand on my prediction that they're going to do like 2 or 3 seasons because they've already allocated the money and the budget, and they're probably in production for those. And then it's going to fizzle out before they're not going to push all the way to the end.
I do just want to say that when I ranked these movies, there isn't one of them that I go, man, I hate that movie, or man, I really didn't like it. Like, I still really enjoy all 8 of these movies more so than I do a lot of other movies that I watch. Even the one I ranked last. Like, I rewatch again and again and again because I love the movies. I think they're good. Yes, the books are better, but I love the movies.
Yeah, I feel like I can love both.
Yeah.
And not hold them against each other too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want different. Now I forgot to mention this. I actually have Move Everything Down on my list because there's one more that I didn't put on there, and that was The Cursed Child. Okay, that's number
It's
one
not a
for
movie.
me. It's tier 1 in my book. I'm talking about the Hermione Granger one, not the Broadway
Appreciate
one.
it.
Yeah.
So mean.
No,
It's
that
the
needed to go
meanest
on our
thing I've ever done.
rankings.
So what was hilarious, and Jade will probably say something to me afterwards. I do remember Jade was the one who was just like, I can't believe Spencer did this. Like,
The
but
retcon.
then the other day she was just like, that was actually the most genius thing Spencer's ever done. Like after like a while of like thinking through it, she's just like, yeah, that
It's
was
a
a good decision.
master stroke.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's classic 2, baby. It's a classic 2. Okay, it just takes time to cook. But
yeah, I was telling my brother-in-law about the podcast, and I was like, I just came up with this thing. What if Harry Potter was in Slytherin, which I know everyone's done, but I just kind of went for it, and people really liked it, and it just like took off.
yeah, phenomenal.
It was such
stuff.
a fun thing. Yep.
But that is going to do it for us here on the show of Requirement and season 7 of the show. What's in our future? We don't know. But when we do find out, we'll let you know.
Hey, if that reboot ever comes out, which Spencer is still slightly doubting that it ever does.
Oh my gosh, did we just do 7 seasons, like 7 books?
Yep.
We did. Wow.
Yeah.
So if it sounds like a farewell, it is, but it isn't, because we'll come back.
We're closing the door, but we're leaving it unlocked.
Yeah. But I will say this. Thank you so much to everyone who has been with us on this journey. When Spencer and I started this back in 2020, we started it off as just an episode on the Gazebo Effect podcast. We didn't think that it would be this. When we then added Abby onto the show, man, that was amazing. And then Cole, just another incredible addition. And just to see the amount of people that within the last couple of months that have joined us on this journey, man, I'm just so thankful that we've added some more people into this. And so, like Spencer said, this is not goodbye. This is that's really cringy, more than Hermione and Harry. But this is a see you later. We'll
a mischief managed.
Yeah, for sure. But for Spencer and Abby and Cole, this is David for the podcast. And until next time, mischief managed.